Alright, now that Bash in Berlin is behind us, let's do a little recap of the show and give my thoughts and just, how I felt about the show overall. Crowd was dope. I'm not gonna lie though, I think France has set the bar pretty high, man. Like, I don't know if any crowd can really top that, man. Like, I've heard rumors they're gonna be doing a show in Italy next year, and maybe Mexico could be another good crowd as well, but I mean, that crowd in Lyon, France, they set the bar so high, man. Like, they haven't been topped yet, but maybe, a crowd will be able to over-exceed them in the future because that was a phenomenal crowd. But shout out to Germany because they live up to the expectations as well. Very good crowd. Let's talk Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. This was match of the night to me, personally. I really enjoyed this match. I mean, I expected these guys to have a good match, but I love the story aspect of them planting the seeds for the Kevin Owens heel turn, possibly. Some people felt like it should have happened at the show. Didn't need to happen at the show. It wasn't needed because both guys are still kind of a part of the bloodline stuff, and Solo has, hinted that he does want the championship still, and I look at it as like maybe the next time Kevin Owens, is going to help Cody Rhodes, or Cody Rhodes needs Kevin Owens' help, maybe Kevin Owens doesn't show up. Maybe he doesn't help Cody. Maybe he's tired of getting beat down by the bloodline. Like, I think the jealousy seeds are going to be starting to plant there because Kevin Owens showed a side of emotion that we haven't seen from his character in the past where, he really, could have took out Cody Rhodes if he wanted to, but he decided not to let that killer instinct out, man. And it's deep down inside of his soul. It's deep down inside of his soul. But, Cody's his friend, and he didn't want to do Cody like that, and he could have easily powerbombed on the apron and took him out of commission, but didn't do it. It cost him. Now I think we're going to, start to plant the seeds further and further because Kevin Owens could be a really good heel for Cody Rhodes to feud with on SmackDown, which Cody kind of needs because they're very lackluster in heels, and Cody's pretty much worked with all the top ones so far. I expected Bianca and Jade to win. I think it's the right decision because if there's any team that could try to at least help revive the tag team titles, it's got to be this team right here. So eventually the story aspect I think is going to lead to one of the two turning on each other. Not really sure. I think I'd much rather have Bianca turn on Jade, but somebody's going to turn on somebody eventually, but I think them having the tag team titles is the right move, and they have to really try to be the catalyst to try to make the tag team titles mean something. I'm not really a big fan of strap matches, but this match served its purpose from a storyline perspective. I'm all about storytelling, right? And the match served its purpose for the storytelling, and now they're 1v1. They're going to have the rematch at Bad Blood. Some people are expecting maybe Hell in a Cell to culminate the feud, and Hell in a Cell has always been, a very good match to end feuds, especially a Bad Blood, no pun intended, personal feud like the Punk and Drew feud. So Hell in a Cell I think should be the objective, or Last Man Standing. One of the two. If it was a Last Man Standing, I'd totally be fine for that as well because that's also a great way to end a personal rivalry like the Punk and Drew feud. But the match overall was pretty solid though. It was pretty solid. It was physical, hard-hitting as expected, and Punk winning was, what I expected as well. I really freaking loved the mixed tag team match, and the correct winners won if you ask me. Some people felt the Judgment Day needed to win. I disagree. Rhea Ripley pinning Liv Morgan allows Liv Morgan to now have to defend the championship against Rhea again, probably at Bad Blood, and that feud is really personal as well. Maybe that's a Hell in a Cell or something. I mean, that could have a stipulation to it right there. And then Damian Priest has been one of the top main event guys on Raw now over Babyface. His win with the tag team match just propels the storyline with him and Finn Balor even more. Like, this new Judgment Day isn't a group that we're supposed to take serious. They're not a threat to anybody. They're not supposed to be a threat to anybody. They're only together because Liv Morgan got Dom to turn on Rhea, and Finn Balor turned on Damian Priest. JD McDonough is Finn Balor's tag team partner, so he's going to go wherever he goes. That makes sense. And then Carlito is he just goes wherever. He's just there, you know what I mean? Like, individually it's different, but them as a group, they're not going to win much, and they're not supposed to win much. They're not going to be like the OG Judgment Day. Individually, though, I think Dom is able to, he's in a very good spot where Dom is able to win and lose matches, and no matter whether he wins or loses, he's in such a good spot because he's able to attract so much heel heat from the audience, whether he wins or loses, and that's a very good spot to be in. Finn Balor, if he wins the Damian Priest feud, maybe that could be a good push for him to be in the main event scene again, I don't know, but Liv Morgan is also going to be the one to have probably the most success because she's the world champion, and now she's one of the top stars in that women's division. Carlito is a guy who loses much. He's not going to win much. And JD McDonough, once they lose the tag team titles, he's probably going to be the guy who loses the most in the group. So them as a group, they're not really going to stick out like the OG Judgment Day, or they're not supposed to. And then that main event, physical, hard-hitting. Gunther is top 3 in the world right now. He's one of the top 3 best wrestlers in the world, bar none. Like, he's just him, bro. He's just him. Gunther is that dude, bro. Like, some people I feel like don't understand his style or just can't get behind his style because he's very old schoolish, and I understand that 1000%. I get maybe he's not your cup of tea, but Gunther just has nothing but great matches. His presentation as his character makes sense. He's the ring general. He's a guy who believes his sport is very sacred. He wants to bring prestige and honor to what he does because he just believes that, you know, wrestling should be a certain type of way. He's not really an entertainment guy. He's a wrestler's wrestler. He's like a man's man, you know what I mean? So Gunther's a very old school guy, and that what makes him stand out to be so unique, and he's so different than everybody else on the roster. Nobody feels like him. So Gunther to me is top 3 in the world, and Randy Orton putting him over the way he did just helps solidify Gunther even further as one of the top stars in the world. I mean, getting choked out by the sleeper and then shaking Gunther's hand afterwards to acknowledge him, you know, like, you know what, man? It's your time. You're the dude right now, bro. And Orton didn't need the win. He don't need to be 15-time world champion right now. That can happen eventually, but Gunther is a guy that Triple H has fully believed in since NXT UK, and that's shown with all his championship reigns from the UK championship to the IC title until now. Gunther is going to be a big-time player for quite some time, bro. Like, when it's all said and done, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, Gunther gonna be in the record books as one of the greatest of all time. Overall, though, I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was pretty good, you know, for what it was. You know, I felt like, you know, there were some dry moments in the show where maybe the crowd just wasn't into it a bit because some of the matches were a little slow paced, and I don't think it's the best international show WWE's had this year, but very solid show, man. It delivered, and, you know, I really enjoyed the storytelling that the show had because storytelling is a main key for me in wrestling. Like, some people like in-ring match quality more. I'm more of a storytelling guy, and I feel like, you know, every match served its purpose for that.